screams exhausted.
If this sounds a little different than what you're used to, your ears are not failing you, you're not losing your mind. This is still Fort Worth Roots, but we've got something new cooking in the studio today. And I'm going to start by introducing my buddy on my left here, and we're going to go down the row and tell you guys a little bit about our newest sponsor here at the Fort Worth Roots podcast. But this edition, this new thing that we're doing at Fort Worth Roots is going to be outside of the normal format than you guys have ever seen on our show. And we couldn't be more excited to be here with our friends today. Russell, can you introduce people to you?
Yeah, my name is Russell Jones. I'm with Donovan Manufacturing. We build guns and support three-letter HCs and other agencies as well. We try to keep everybody safe, try to help. Our motto is, by professionals for professionals. So we've been in the thick of it, and I've been in the industry for a minute, and we know how to build guns.
Excellent.
Dillon, Donovan Manufacturing. Kind of the same thing, man. We just, I know he's been in the industry a while. I think before we started this one, I was in it for 6 years prior. Just kind of got together and was like, man, we're tired of the regular gun shop bullshit, and let's do something cool. And here we are.
And cool it is. I walked into this place, and I didn't have any idea what we would get into, but I told him, I just want to get involved. I want to incorporate this. I want to be part of what you guys are doing out here. You got the baddest shop I've ever seen, just because of the where it's situated, what you got going on in there, and the way that you guys have kind of integrally merged all the different wonderful things that you're doing into one space. And you guys just have some rad shit going on.
Thanks, man.
So we're here for it. I guess we should probably break into our sponsor, Donovan Manufacturing. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
And tell folks what is it that you do there?
Man. So our claim to fame, I guess you could say, is our flagship rifle, TRDT. We got together with the ranch down in Dillon, Texas, and with some special operators and some other guys down there, and they were like, hey, this is what we're looking for in a rifle. Make it happen. So we did. And then we incorporated some of our stuff into it. You know, we've got some patented items that we put on there, and we just started producing it, throwing it out there, and it's done really, really well.
Excellent.
So,
can we give any details as to what kind of sets you apart in the manufacturing process? I mean, what are you producing that brings people to your doorstep or to your website?
Honestly, I think the biggest thing that brings people to us is just the community that we're down around. I'm down at the ranch a lot. 98% of the guys that are down there are, military, your three-letter agencies, all those guys. So I'm down there mingling with them. The biggest deal on our rifles is so our upper receivers, we port our upper receivers. So all these agencies, just about everybody now, is going to suppressed weapons. Running suppressors, you get a lot of gas back to your face. Now, the new flow-through suppressors and all do fantastic. Still eating a lot of that gas. So we went in and said, hey, how do we get rid of that? Ported our uppers. We did a lot of testing with it, and now we're putting out a product that really works. So I think the biggest product, I guess, that we have that's really pushing would be those right now.
I'm going to try to sound intelligent about this, but I'm really going to screw this up. With the new design that you have with the ports and everything, does that change the pressure inside the barrel? Does that compromise anything?
No, it's all after the fact.
Excellent.
Yeah, after all the explosions, after going to the gas block, up the gas tube. And we mainly sell SBRs and machine guns. Like, that's our main bread and butter. So our target audience isn't even really, the actual public. It's mainly groups of guys that are looking to secure the other target audience for the other gun shops.
Yeah.
And since we've been on both sides of the argument, both sides of the field, we've kind of, I've handled almost every gun you can think of. And you see what comes out. We've been to SHOT so many times. Every time New Year that comes out, there's something new coming on. add this, add that. This spring does this spring does that. And all it does in practicality is give you another thing to think about when you're kicking in a door.
Yeah.
And you don't need that.
Keep it simple, stupid.
That's right. So we, through 20 different adjustable, quote unquote, gas blocks. Yeah, they're adjustable. For what reason?
Yeah.
Like who's now?
Yeah.
So, we made the target gun for the professional, because we know what the hell they're looking for. And when we came up, hats off to Mitch too. With that port design.
Who's Mitch?
Mitch is
he's our machinist.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
really great dude. And it's been a game changer. And we've been rocking ever since. Like, so it breaks the gas down. I would argue. People say different things with different cans, but it's almost like 50% off, into your face. And that's, if you've ever shot a suppressed weapon,
I haven't.
if you ever shot one, if you ever do. So imagine the round going off. You got a 5.56 round that's designed to have all the gas expelled at the end of a 20-inch barrel. Nobody uses it anymore.
Yeah.
The bullets haven't changed. So now we're all at 10-inch barrels. There's a lot of gas and a lot of crap and a lot of carbon coming out that's unspent.
Uh-huh.
All that gets in the can. All that goes up the gas tube. All that goes into your receiver. Goes down the freaking charging handle and right in your face. So you can't get around the short barrel. You're not going to change the ammo. That's all government contract stuff.
Need to put that gas somewhere else.
That's right. So we did. And it's been nailing it. We got a couple of SWAT teams using our stuff now.
Yeah, we got a few different agencies that have the that have the rifles themselves, and then, man, even the like I said, just the upper. So we've got some other stuff that we manufacture. We do our own buffer tubes.
That's huge.
That's another big one. And we're on video. Maybe I'll go grab one here in a minute and kind of show everybody. Our buffers are different, so we changed our buffers. But yeah, the uppers are really the big thing, man. And aside from being on our rifles, going to these people, I've got a lot of gun shops coming in that are hitting me up like, hey, can we carry these? Man, we're to the point now, like, we can't even keep up with production of them.
That's a wonderful problem to have.
So we're cranking, and then, as word's getting out, I got more agencies coming in. I've got 20 of them I got to do now, and I'm like, we got to get some of these uppers done. So
is your machinist back there right now just hammering them away?
No. So machine shop's over in Burleson.
Okay.
So yeah, he does all of our machining for us. The dude's a wicked genius.
So is he down there right now machining?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or
Yep.
he's got 5 pair of glasses on trying to figure out the next suppressor design. You really don't know.
Okay.
Any good machinist is missing at least 2 fingers. He's missing like 4.
Oh, no. Sorry about your fingers, Mitch.
It wasn't on machining.
That makes sense. Well, do we want to talk any about the other part of Donovan Manufacturing? Since this is an introduction to what we're going to try to break into, and I am absolutely positive that this is going to change shape over the next 5 years as we continue to do this.
Yeah, for sure, man. I guess just kind of get into everything we do. So, that was kind of how we started. And then, the more I'm hanging out with these different groups of people, these different agencies, it's, hey, like, you can get the rifle, but can you get us, body armor? Can you get us plate carriers? Can you get us night vision? And so it kind of grew from that, to where I'm reaching out to these different manufacturers. We're getting things set up. So, now we're kind of one of the all-in-ones, I guess you can say. Agency comes to us, they get these grants, they get this money, and they're like, hey, I've got all this. If I can just go to you and get everything, then we'd rather do that.
Beautiful.
So a lot of that's kind of what it grew into. And then we got a bunch of machine guns. So machine guns are cool. Not everybody can own them. Everybody wants to shoot them. So we do a lot of machine gun shoots. We rent out the guns. Of course, we're there. We're also partnered up with like Executive Outdoor Adventures. They do like helicopter hog hunts, stuff like that. They need people, or they got people coming in wanting to shoot machine guns out of a Blackhawk. They call us. We go out there. We bring the guns.
That's the outfit right down
here in Bowie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the bird's here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Shout out to Andy and Richard.
Yeah.
So are they the pilots, the owners?
Yeah, Richard Sidebom's the pilot. He's awesome. And then Andy's owns the
We
executive
need to get
outdoor
Richie
pictures.
in here for sure.
Oh, we will. Yeah. He's on the list.
I like swirly birds. I think I might have told y'all that.
He's also British.
Yeah.
It makes for good audio.
Yeah. You better hope you hit the hogs, because if not, he's going to squish them with the skids on the helicopter. Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you miss. He's got him.
We did a lot of hog hunting down in just outside of Abilene, a place called Ty, little bitty nothing town. A friend of ours had access to his family property. I think it was like 4,500 acres.
Nice.
And we'd go out there on the weekends, and we would just set the traps, make sure there was water in the traps, because we were only going out there maybe once a week. You don't want them dying in your cage while you got them, because you're planning on eating them. So we'd take these huge, still just monstrosities of cages. They got to be pretty good size if you're going to hook 3, 4, maybe 5 hogs. It takes 6 of us to move that thing. We'd get it out of the bed of the truck, and then we'd go down to the creek bed. We'd set it down in the dry creek bed. Set it down in there, mix up some donut store leftovers, maybe just a touch of diesel. And, boy, those hogs, they, for some reason, combination of bread and diesel fuel, I don't know why, but they'd go nuts. But those are tough creatures.
Because they're from hell.
They are from hell. I got a quick story. So my buddy, he's got the AR, and his friend next to him has got a 12 gauge with slugs in it, and they're standing at the bottom of the creek bed, and this hog is at the top of the creek, on the ridge, and it's moving from right to left. Well, he takes a shot at it. Well, it gets pissed. Starts coming at him, and it's moving fast. And this is a West Texas creek bed. That the wall is not that high. The distance between him and the hog is not that far. So he's shooting it while it's coming down the hill, and he thinks he's missing because he shot at it 6 times. And our other friend didn't want to steal the kill from him, so he was just waiting until it got so uncomfortable. He's like, "F this, let's go," and he drops it with the slug. He hits it just underneath the neck. Right, gets it in the chest because they're standing below it, and it folds up its legs and comes to a sliding stop. And there were 6 AR-15 holes in the top of that hog's head.
Well, yeah. So I mean,
and we're talking about a 50-pound hog, man.
Yeah, dude. So and man, we'll kind of bring that around. So we got our rifles, right? So Executive Outdoors, they came to us. They do a lot of hog hunts. They use AR-15s, and they've got these people that are coming in. Now, granted, most people coming in doing this hunting ain't never shot hogs before.
Well, and from a helicopter, right?
Yeah. Well, not all. So
okay.
They do
that's totally different.
Yeah, nighttime thermal hunt, stuff like that. But they're loading these hogs with 223 rounds, and they're not
filling them up.
So yeah. So Andy over there came to me, and they're like, "Hey, we need to build a gun."
This is a process too, getting through whatever calibers.
Oh yeah. So. I was like, okay, well, let's do 308. No, it's too expensive. Okay. Let's do 300 blackout. No, it's too expensive. Okay. Well, run an AK. Well, people don't want to run AKs. Cool. So, we're running 7.62 by 3.9s and AR-15 platform rifles.
Which, if you're listening, that's a no-no.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
And there's other manufacturers that do it.
Real quick, how much of a no-no? Is that just something you don't do in the gun world?
Well, there's 2 reasons for it to be a no-no. And I've use this forever because I think it's a no-no. However, this is a special circumstance.
Right.
So the most ammo you use for 223 gun is brass, so everything's made around soft metal. Ejections, everything. And all they did with 7.62 by 39 is they just made it all bigger and made it fit that casing.
It's steel casing.
That's right. It's not all steel casing, but no one's spending the 75 cents a round for 7.62 by 39 brass casing. The whole reason to use 7.62 by 39 is because it's cheaper.
Right.
And then 300 Blackout got developed out of that because it's basically the same bullet, and except the casing size. And then so we went back around and we're like, let's explore the ammo again. That bullet will do the trick. It's high powered every time. Get the military stuff super cheap. And the real issue we found, well, there were several issues, but my favorite is the magazine issue.
Oh, yeah.
So that was the real issue. Well, in an AK mag, they're banana shaped. They're that way because the casing is tapered.
Right.
So stacks. And everybody wanted to run as much ammo as you could. Well, in reality, no one shoots 30 rounds at a time.
Yeah. 15-round mag ought to get it done, yeah.
20-round mags are perfect. And then on top of that, there was a different metallurgy and running through the different firing pins and everything, but he can go into more of that. But we made it work, and it works great.
So I sorry about that. I just had to know what the no-no was. Please continue. I digress.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry. And then the other no-no is screw ARs because AKs rock.
Right.
And AKs already exist. So why are we even jacking with this black rifle gas crap anyway?
Right,
There's that no-no as well. All right?
So our gun enthusiasts know you're not morons.
But, yeah, so, he came to us like, hey, everybody runs the AR-15s. They know the platform. We won it 7.62 by 3.9. I'm not going to say every. There's other manufacturers out there that produce the rifles. Every one that I have messed with, there's always been issues.
Yeah.
Feeding issues, ejection issues, like first one thing and another. So it was really, we want to build this thing, but we want it to work. One of our philosophies is everything we do, we get it to work in full auto first, right? If it works in full auto, then we're golden after that.
Right.
So we build these rifles out, running them. Everything's running great. For the rifle itself, the biggest deal was magazines, man. I think we went through 10 or 15 different magazine manufacturers, different round counts to find one that's feeding properly.
Yeah.
So found that, checked that off. It's like, cool. So, everybody's running old Russian military surplus ammo. It's all steel case, hard primered.
And not because it's bad. It's great ammo. You just got to have the right gun to work it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the downside was the firing pin. We put 300 rounds through it just fine.
Yeah.
And I had 301. You get the dreaded click, and we're like, oh shit, that ain't good. So cycle another round, click. It's like shit. So
And you're talking pop no kick, just
Yeah.
it's not going anywhere.
Yep.
Ain't got no gas in it.
Yeah. So strip it down, pull it out, pull the firing pin, and sure enough, we broke the tip off the firing pin.
Shit.
So we're like, okay, shit. So a little bit of research, dug around, called some different companies, got us some legit, firing pins, dropped them in there, and man, them rifles, the one that they're running out there regularly. I mean, they've probably got thousands and thousands of rounds through them at this point, and
Yep.
I mean, they're still running great.
Outstanding. Yeah. So a lot of just trial and error, see what's going to work, and if that don't work, make it better.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And the big thing is, we're still a small business. Anything goes wrong with any of our rifles that we have out there, like we're traveling.
Sure.
Like we'll come
Yeah.
to you, we'll get it fixed. We'll make it right.
You're talking to one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, so far, no issues.
Yeah. And it's going to happen, right? I mean, inevitably. Enough, you crank out enough units, and you're gonna have issues.
Or randomly, someone loads a 300 blackout round in a 5.56 magazine.
You should bring that casing in here.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, I see. No, we ain't doing that one. You know what? We will. We'll bring it in here in a minute. But we can't tell the whole story on that one. But I did have one rifle went out, was running fine. The guy comes to me a couple weeks later and he's like, "Hey man, it ain't working." So what do you mean it ain't working? I'm like, it's just not working. Okay. So brings it to me, I strip everything down, and I'm like, "Oh, well, you changed the gas block." "Oh yeah, we put an adjustable gas block on there." "Well, why'd you do that?" "Well, because we're running it suppressed." "Nah, dude, we don't do that." So I got it in, put everything back to original, the way I put it out there, gave it back to him, went out, shot it, runs just fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. So now I charge you for parts again, and then you get the asshole fee applied. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, man. Like when we put it out, we know it's going to work.
Yeah.
We go through. We do our T&E to make sure that whatever we put out there, especially now everybody's running suppressed, so it's going to run unsuppressed. It's going to run suppressed the way it's supposed to. Don't fuck with nothing.
You used an acronym. I don't know. T&E.
Test and eval.
Okay.
So, we go through it. We make sure everything's good
Traverse
before we put it out.
elevation, and that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So where do you guys do all of your testing? You got to get out there and put some rounds down range.
Oh, man, there's a couple different places. So if it's local, man, I got some family that owns some land out here in Rome.
Okay. Yeah.
We do a little bit out there. For the real testing, dude, we go down to Dillon, the ranch down in Dillon, Texas. The owner Chad down there, really good friends with him. We got a place down there. So really, that's where probably 99% of our testing's at. The facility he's got down there, dude, we're testing everything. Pistol bays, rifle bays, shoot house, mount sights, all of our guns. So I think we've got 10 guns down there that he runs regularly. And
Or the house gun, like the
Yeah.
house rental gun kind of thing.
Yeah, so TRDT, the model of our rifle is the Ranch Dilly, Texas.
Okay.
So that's what that stands for. And dude, so people come in, they're renting those guns. They've got hundreds of thousands of rounds through them, including simunition rounds, like everything else. So I mean, they're getting all the testing you could possibly imagine of it.
Is simunition like blanks?
No, they're not blanks. Kind
So
of
like
like
paintball kind of thing.
a kinda,
Okay.
yeah. So
Except with a bullet that hurts.
bad.
So simulation rounds, you're involved with setting up courses down there and letting them run through, or is there already a course? How's that work?
So, a couple different ways down there. So, I've taught a couple classes down there. Mainly, the way he runs that place is kind of like a event center, right? He'll have different training organizations or agencies come through there, and they're like, "Hey, we want to do shoot house operations today." Cool. So you rent the shoot house for the day.
Set up to like clear rooms and
Yeah, man.
moving teams.
They got an explosive license down there. You want deck cord? You want? I mean, what you got?
Yeah. So I mean, it's
I got time. Let's go.
right. We're gonna have to do a podcast down there.
Hell yeah, we are.
Yeah, we'll roll down there. But yeah, so I mean, the facility is set up to do literally anything you could possibly imagine. And whereas Chad, he's got some classes that he'll put on. Mainly, it's if I want to go down there and teach a CQB class, I call them up. Hey, I need the shoot house for a day. I get my people in there. I go in. I shoot. I set it up. We do the training. Everybody leaves, and that's it. It's a done deal.
That's awesome.
One thing that's the beauty part about that place down there is it's set up. It's not there's no ego when you walk in. It is a event facility. So if you're an agency and you need a place to train, don't think that your agency is too small to run with 3-letter agency guys, because it ain't. Or don't think if you're some shooting group that you can't run a pistol course down there, because you definitely can. And there's even the mobility stuff too. Mm-hmm. And he's been involved with that.
But out of all this stuff that's happening down there, these guys are using you as a resource for weapon rental and all that good stuff.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, man. So,
More
like I said, they've got the rifles down there, right? So they've got our rifles down there. Kind of like with these agencies and stuff, with Chad down there, like I'm the supplier, right? So Chad calls me, hey, I got a class coming down here. We need 20,000 rounds of 9mm. Cool, man, I'm on it. He'll call me. We'll get it ordered. We'll get it shipped down there. Night vision, like just about everything.
Yeah.
So,
or we got a class that want to rent night vision. We're like, okay, we'll come down there. We'll rent out our units. I mean, because we're carrying hundreds of thousands of dollars of stuff with us, what I mean? And then we'll come down there with it and then set everybody up. And then generally what happens is someone ends up picking up a pair or two. It makes it worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you can do that for anything. It doesn't have to be a CI .gov, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
It can be a
enthusiast group.
Yeah, right.
Fill in the blank.
Fill in the blank.
yeah. So
Y'all were telling me a little bit about the night vision goggles that you sell here in shop, and we got to talking about it because I like to think of myself as not really old school Army, but nowadays it's starting to feel like that. And we were talking about night vision goggles, and I was talking about
Just real quick, I tell people I'm polishing boots old.
yeah, that's me.
I know.
That's yeah,
y'all
dude.
are old.
Listen, when they went to the desert boots, I was like, "What the hell are they going to do in basic, man? Like, what are you doing? It's half the fun." So you check on this camera real quick. That thing looks like it died. Sometimes it acts funny, but yeah. So the night vision goggles that we were using whenever I was going through, you didn't want to use them. It was not really an advantage to have those things on because you had no depth perception, and it just, I don't know, didn't work very well. So whenever we would go blackout on a convoy and we had to drive under nods, we'd have to reduce the convoy speed to 20 miles less an hour than what we were doing, and that felt pretty aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
But you guys were telling me, no, that's not the way it is anymore. These night vision goggles are different, and the only reason you know that is because anything that goes into your shop, you guys test it out,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I think's really rad. Because most places they're just looking at the unit cost, if it's going to sell on their shelves, but you guys are doing it a totally different way. You're testing these products and making sure that it fits with your brand on your shelf at your shop.
Well, I will tell you, just to break down night vision a little bit. And I've only learned this over the past couple of years. There's only really 3 main tube manufacturers. After that, it's all junk. And Photonis, L3, and Elbit.
Okay.
Photonis is in Europe. L3 and Elbit are in DFW.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The L3 I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So EOTech, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Right on.
So it's really convenient that we are here, in DFW.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know that we have more access than most people, but they seem to cross our paths more than most.
Right.
So whenever someone is looking for anything off the wall, say they want, I need a set of L3 tubes and Acton Black housing. Oh, which Acton Black's here too. So it's, and this is their U.S. home. The rest of their company's in Switzerland.
Okay.
So it's like everybody's here in DFW. I think it's got a lot to do with the reason everybody's here.
Yeah.
The money, the growth. Something like, I saw a stat the other day, we're like the 8th. If you were to throw Texas out and rate them in a country format, we're number 8 in the economy
Yeah,
in the world.
8th strongest economy worldwide,
Right.
up against any other nation.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was 8. I thought it was lower than that. I thought it was like 6 or something. But
Maybe.
anyway, yeah, we have a very powerful economy. Texas is the place to be, and
Well, you would also have to rate the United States. So Texas is part of the United States, so that would be one in itself.
well, United States falls far behind Texas,
It does.
right?
But not if Texas is part of the United States.
I'm saying Texas on its own merit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, rates like 8th in the world as far as national economies.
But you would have to pull Texas out of the United States to make that rating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Texas is in the United States.
So if you remove Texas, United States rating goes down more.
I think we have 2 different timelines going on.
We'll get some crayons out. We'll get this figured.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think these guys are going to want to know a little bit more about your background. Russell, do we want to get into to your past?
Sure. I mean,
When he was a young warthog.
no, I think we can start probably at maybe the formation of Trinity Ordnance. I think that was the gun store. That's a local gun store.
Lake Worth, Texas.
I was in Lake Worth. And we
It was in a primo spot right before the construction.
Yeah, it was pretty rad. Yeah, and then me and Chris Parrish started that in Haltom City. A real close friend of mine. He owns a barbershop in Haslett now. It's top-notch barbershop. Place is rad. It's the only place to get my haircut. And we had started. He was into AKs, and I was into ARs. And we were like, hey, let's kind of do something. We started doing a couple of gun shows. Went to get an FFL, and in Haltom City, they were like, you have to have, you can't have a business in a residence in Haltom City. You had to have a retail space. So we're like, crap, all right, if we're really going to do this.
In order to hold an FFL.
Right.
Okay.
Or no, just to do it business. So you can have a home-based business.
Oh, okay. Any business.
I think that was the vibe. I don't know if it's
Okay.
still the rule anymore.
Yeah.
That was years ago. And so we found literally the cheapest place we could rent. And rented a spot.
And that was that spot.
And that was it. And we were down at the alley in Haltom City and off of Menace, and it was a weird place to have a gun store. But one table turned into 2 tables at the show, and then Chris was going through some stuff, and Richard came in, and after that, me and Richard blew it up, and then we moved to Lake Worth. And then shortly after that, I got approached by another friend of mine, and at the same time, I was going to school to burn in the GI Bill, getting a degree, and thinking about changing careers, realizing that gun shops are awesome, but they're not like, there's no gun shop owners that own, they're not bazillionaires, I'll tell you that.
Right, yeah. It's a I've had friends that owned gun stores in the past, and they don't own gun stores anymore.
That's right. The margins are really low. And that's why whenever we were going to get into do this thing, I was like, no, man, this is not a let's spend 30 minutes a customer filling out paperwork and then making 10% on a $200 gun.
Right.
And then now that guy's mad because we didn't match the price on the internet. And then you had to pay sales tax on top of that and blah, blah, blah. The internet really just wiped it up.
Yeah.
And not saying that you can't find good deals every now and then at gun shops. I mean, there's tons of good deals at gun shops. I go to gun shops all over the state, like on a regular basis. It's almost my job.
Yeah.
And there's really, really awesome stuff to see. But when you get to the generic level, are you just going to sell Sky pistols to the population?
Yeah.
And not to that extent, but there was some of that vibe going whenever I decided to let my hands go at Trinity Ordnance.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I needed to do something different. And my buddy was like, hey, get into this vending business. I did all that, and that did well. And then I met Dillon. And I actually met Dillon through, he had a gun thing going. He knew me before. He'd seen me at the gun store, but I didn't really remember him, because I'm just whatever. And then he saw me again, and he was printing some stuff, and he was doing the veteran T-shirt things for the coffee company. And then I don't know. He can probably say from there. That's about where where our paths collide. And he could probably pick up.
Yeah. So my background, I guess, like I said, I've had my FFL for probably going on 8 years now. Before my FFL, no military experience, none of that. Back in the day, I did a lot with some different law enforcement agencies. Know a lot of those guys. Was able to do some of the cool guy shit, back in the day. And then, so I started working for a buddy of mine at a print shop. I guess about 8 years ago. Before that, I owned a security company. Security companies in Texas suck. It's a race to the bottom. It's terrible. Nobody wants to pay for the top notch.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's the whole industry race to the bottom. That's why the guns too.
Yeah, it's terrible, terrible. So essentially took that company, turned it into a quote unquote gun shop. Right. Got our FFL. Was doing that. It was cool. It was always a side gig. Like I said, working for a good friend of mine at the print shop. Did that for about 6 years. Did the gun stuff on the side, and then a couple years ago, it was like, man, I want to get out of this. I want to do my own thing. The problem with owning any kind of, and I'm not really going to say gun store because I don't consider what we have here gun store, right? It's a pro shop.
Right.
You walk in there, you're not going to see any guns. But like Russell said, you're not getting rich off that. You might make your mortgage on that. So
if you're lucky, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it's like, hey, we've got that thing going, and it's kind of turned into a full-time deal, but the shop isn't the full-time deal. It's traveling, dealing with these agencies, going down to the training facility, doing stuff like that. So a couple years ago, I was like, man, I really want to do my own thing. Work for myself, the American dream, right? Uh-huh. Like I said, I was working for a buddy of mine, a real good friend, about 2 years prior to that. After COVID, after all that shit went on, we had to move from Haltom City to Covington. It's about an hour, 15 minutes south of here.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
No one has.
Yeah, it's a little bitty spot. And so we moved the shop out there. That's where he lives. And I was making that trip for a couple years. Every day, it was a kick in the ass. Went to him and I was like, "Hey, brother, I need to go off and do my own thing." He's like, "Dude, I understand." I had at this point, we had already started Donovan Manufacturing, knowing that's not going to pay the bills. So I was like, hey, I got with him, you're way out here. I won't be, competing with you anymore. I'm going to start a print shop in DFW. Bought a couple machines off him. He was real cool about it. Nice. And then, that's when we moved in here and started doing the print shop here.
You guys still have a good relationship.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because business can ruin that.
Yeah, no, man. That that's we were tight. We were friends before business. And then, like I said, when he started his print shop, he called me and he was like, "Hey, I'm starting this. I've got kind of a background from years and years ago in computer, man. I was drawing in AutoCAD, doing coding, kind of some design work, stuff like that. So he's like, "Man, come on, work for me. Let's get this thing off the ground." I was like, "Sweet." And I did that with him for 6 years. So yeah, when we parted ways, he was super cool about it.
So this put you in what, 2020?
This put us in 23.
Okay.
So two years ago is
okay.
when we split. And yeah, so moved in here, and it was a rough few months, trying to get things going, and really just figuring it out. I've owned businesses, but I've always had a steady paycheck.
Right.
Yeah. And so now it's like
hustle mode.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, we got a print shop and we got a gun store, but I'm still having to go do some side work for somebody else so I can pay my mortgage,
No reason I laugh so hard at that. No reason.
Yeah. So, it took I'd like to say it took a few months to really to put some roots in and start getting some clientele. But
and how did you do that, if you don't mind me asking? How did you initially establish yourself as a new print shop in this area? Did you just knock doors, call people, emails?
No, man. Luckily with what I do and who I deal with, I've got quite the community.
So you had a Rolodex full of contacts.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And I did too, just not the same contacts.
Yeah. And so, it was just kind of like, hey man, hey, I'm doing my own thing now, was definitely not trying to stomp on, my homies side of things. So a lot of my friends were, I got business in with his print shops. I was like, well, I can't go to those guys. Right. So yeah, man. But I think my very first customer was a AC place here. It's called North Tarrant Heat and Air.
Okay.
And I've got a friend of mine whose wife at the time worked for him.
Okay.
And she was like, "Hey, you're doing shirts and stuff now?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Sweet, we need a lot." And I was like, "Oh," so that was my first big,
nice.
Like, hey, that was the very first invoice I ever sent out. And they paid it, and I'm like, "Oh, hell yeah!" Like, all right, I'm golden. And
I can do this.
And then it's like, sweet, got the money in, then started ordering and everything, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm broke again." What happened?
Right.
So, and that was coming up on 2 years ago, and they actually just placed another big order with me. So nice. I mean, just finding people like that, and then in the firearms industry, it kind of makes its way back around. Like, hey, yeah, cool. By the way, I do shirts too. I'm like, oh shit, we need some of those. So
machine guns, night vision, and shirts.
Yeah,
take my money.
So yeah, I mean, definitely got the two companies there for, man, a long time. Like the print shop is what was paying the mortgage, and then the gun shop slowly started to surpass it. And it's kind of weird, having both of them. I'm not going to say weird, but it's like, hey, this month, like, we're cranking out on printing, man. And then it's like, all right, I've got all this lined up for printing. My mom works for me. She's back there knocking out shirts and stuff right now. It's like, okay, I'm going to focus on doing some stuff for the pro shop. And then that next month, it's like, oh, sweet, I sold 5 sets of night vision and some rifles. And it's like, oh. And my mom's like, hey, we ain't got nothing to print back here. I'm like, oh, shit, I need to get back on that. So
cooking in 2 different kitchens.
Yeah, it's kind of a balance. It gets stressful from time to time, but, it's working.
And is both that under Donovan Manufacturing?
So, yes and no. So, Donovan Manufacturing is the umbrella company.
Okay.
Right? And then we've got a couple businesses that are DBA'd under Donovan Manufacturing. Okay. Like, we just started another security company.
Really?
Yeah. So I just sent all the paperwork into the state for that, waiting to get all of the stuff back.
Okay, so you're not up and running yet.
No, it's I'm waiting for the state to.
Because I could use a side gig.
Hey man,
you used to have my level 3. What's up?
Hey, so it's kind of another thing we're teaming up with on the ranch, right? So we'll have we'll have the security company, and then we'll have a training company. And then we'll have the academy down at the ranch. So we'll send the guys down there. They go through the academy. They get their licensing. And then we'll have the actual security company that'll hold their license and, essentially whore them out to different companies and stuff.
Sweet. So you're going to be licensing your own guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's cool.
Plus the dog stuff. That's a whole nother side.
What's the what?
The dog stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
dog stuff.
The dogs, So.
They got Cujo over here in a cage off camera, by the way. This room is rad. If y'all are not watching the video, I'll just describe it to you. We got massive gun safes behind us. Donovan Manufacturing banner on the wall here. Some of the boxes sitting on top had to be turned around because of sensitive information. The stuff that's inside these safes is pretty extreme. There's also a Cujo right here in this cage that hasn't actually barked at me this much, as much as last time anyway.
He realizes that we're in the middle of something.
And the camera is sitting on top of some massive ammo cans. So it's a rad little space. Cool. So when do you think you'll be wheels up on your security venture? That sounds like a huge undertaking, actually, now that you've described everything.
Well, so yes and no. Luckily, I've kind of geared, or we've kind of geared everything to operate under one license, right? So we've got Donovan Manufacturing, and everything that we have structured out underneath that, it all still falls under the same umbrella, right? So printing, guns, security, like everything's there.
That's so cool.
So, it's not like, I got to go and do this for this company and this for this company and this for this company.
Yeah.
It's, hey, by the way, we do security. You need security guys. We'll send some people out. Hey, you need guns for those guys? Yeah, we got you squared away.
Is there a particular type of client you're looking for to kind of angle the security business towards?
So, not really looking for. The whole reason we're starting the security venture again, because like I said, I owned a security company before, and it was a terrible thing.
We don't want to talk about it.
So, it was approached to me like, hey, and it was by clients. There was, I'm not going to name drop, but there was another company that was going down, and they were putting on an academy down at the ranch. And it was a 3-week academy. The guys they were putting out were great. They pulled out. Some things kind of went downhill with that, and so now we've got clients coming to us, coming to Chad. Hey, we need some guys. Well, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, well, you need to. So it's kind of like, okay. So we talk like, hey, let's get this thing going. I'll handle the actual company license. You handle the training license, and we'll get these guys cranking and rolling. So as far as looking for clientele, sure, we'll take new clients all day long. But the reason we're doing it is because essentially we've already got clients there.
So watch out, Triple Canopy. I don't even know if they're allowed to use that name anymore.
Yeah, well.
I probably shouldn't have said it, actually. Well, so we've got a laundry list of things that we can get into moving forward. I think it's going to be a lot of exciting shit, and I'm here for it, man. This is one of the things that I get to do for me now, is work with you guys.
Rock on, brother.
So
yeah, man. Like doing all this, right? We meet a lot of videographers, quote unquote, or content creators, also quote unquote. And the big thing about these guys is they all integrate into some sort of charity or some sort of nonprofit, and most of the people we deal with are veterans. I would argue 80% of them, if they're not, they're first responders,
Right.
or did something. And so they all kind of attach themselves to one charity or another. So then all the groups of charities kind of get together, not intentionally. It's just that you're sitting around a campfire with a bunch of dudes after you just smoked a bunch of hogs or something, and you're like, oh, you're with that one. Oh, you're with that one. Oh,
Right.
no joke. And so then we get to kind of throw bones at people, like, hey, man, this is a great charity. We like this cause. But that ends up integrating into something else, as in, like, this charity wants to hold an event. Well, you know what? You should hold it at the ranch,
yeah.
And then Chad has a thing, and then there's a bunch of vets down there. They see what's going on. Some of those vets are Leo dudes. And all of a sudden, boom, their agency is calling Chad to be like, hey, let's freaking rock it.
It's just all kind of intertwined.
That's right. It's all the same, but it all really. I'd like to say it stems from charity. There's some really crossover lines and some ethics in that stuff, and I really have a hard time grappling with that. So I like to keep everything on the level, just always pointing up. Really, right?
Yeah.
Everything you do, always with the best intention.
And with Fort Worth Roots, we've tried to get into supporting 501(c)s and doing everything that we can to promote great organizations. But I stand by this, and I think I will until the day I die. I will never fire up another 501(c). What I mean, I have not done one in the past. I'm saying the world has enough 501(c)s.
Right.
There's enough charity organizations out there. And then last November, we were with one of our sponsors handing out Thanksgiving meals, and they're in real estate. They don't have a 501(c). They've been doing this for the past 3 years. And so my thing is, and before that even occurred, but you can do good shit with your business. You can help your community without having to set up a 501(c). So, but with all that being said, the reason we're sitting here today is because our buddy Dan over at McFly's Pub.
That's right. I love Dan.
Wanted us to do a thing with Brothers Keepers.
That's right.
And so we sat down with Jack and had a good hour-plus conversation, and that, like you were just talking about, we started talking and integrating different ideas, and here we are.
And I can't say enough about Dan. I mean, me and Dan have been friends. I mean, I've known Dan longer than Dillon, probably 20-some years.
He's a good dude. Yeah, as far as I know. I've known him for about a year and a half now.
And he's solid. And he's just a serial entrepreneur like me,
Yeah.
And we just been banging it out ever since. Mm-hmm. And then we both kind of grew up and graduated into the bar scene. So that's my whole other side gig. And
we're not going to talk about that.
It's not even a side gig. I guess it's the main gig. Anyway, whatever. But the fact that Dan, his dad was a veteran as well, and he's kind of grown up in Fort Worth, and he's all about it. So if anything he can do to help, and he was there in the opening the opening day of Trinity Ordnance, Dan worked the cash register.
Yeah, no shit. Okay.
Yeah. So he's known the whole cycle. So anyway, we go back. So whenever Dan was like, "Hey, come hang out at my place," there's this thing going. I'm like, "Well, yeah, obviously." And then everybody likes Back to the Future. So, and McFly's is a solid place, and it's on the East Gate. If nobody knows where it is, it's a little hole in the wall on the East Gate of Carswell, and everybody's like, "The East Gate, that doesn't exist." Well, it used to.
It's there. It is still called the East Gate.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Well, and I was super confused too, because we got into this conversation. I was like, man, I can't wait until they open that gate back up. And somebody was like, it's open. It opens every day at, I guess, 3:00, so that all the people that work there can leave, and then they shut it back down. So it's open, but it's not like it used to be, I guess, or something.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Both the people that work there can leave.
But I tell you what, I worked out there for 8 or 9 years, and whenever it was quitting time, if that East Gate wasn't open, it added like 30 minutes to my trip home, because I lived in Plano for a little bit. And if I left out the East Gate at 3:00, I could get home in 50 minutes. If I had to go back to the main gate and I got out of there by 3:10, it would take me an hour and 20 minutes to get home. So it was just, that East Gate was a really important part of my day. And then there was a barbershop. It's still there, I think. I haven't been in there in a while. We called her Mama San. I don't know what her real name was. But she would try to get us super liquored up. We'd go in for a haircut, and the haircut was unbelievably cheap. But it took forever. She moved really slowly, and I think that was just part of her technique. And she would just break out all the good booze for us. Because when we came in, we'd be 8, 9, 10 people deep, and we'd keep that place running. So she loved seeing us. But yeah, Eastgate. That's one of the roughest roads in the DFW area too, because apparently like 3 different entities own that road.
Really?
And they're constantly fighting over who's going to pay for it.
I've
never seen them do any work to that road.
Even if
it's rough as shit.
Even if it was fixed, I couldn't even figure it out. Like, any intersection there is not like any intersection that ever exists anywhere else.
Oh, going down that road?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like,
super weird.
Like, what?
It doesn't make sense.
Anyway.
Yeah. McFly's Pub, 1980s Back to the Future themed bar. Take your friends. And we're out there every Tuesday doing a live audience recording, like there's a mic set up so that people can jump into the conversation and have fun with us. And if you guys ever want to do this out there one Thursday, we can.
Yeah, we do McFly's printing too. So.
Nice. Did y'all do all the banners for down the fence?
No.
Okay. Well, that should be a conversation of some
Well,
contention.
it is now. I mean,
Dan, what the hell? I think Whit just did that, and I was really proud of Whit whenever she took over the bar as the bar manager, because those banners weren't there, and like the social media just got way better. The marketing on the fence got better. So, but I'm going to talk to Whit, and I'm going to tell her, by God, if you got any banners to print.
She knows now. I think that was before all this.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But yeah, so if if you got anybody, if you know anybody in the industry, Fort Worth PD, if you're looking for something, I know there's places around here, but they ain't like this. We've been to all of them. Mm-hmm. We've seen the downfall and the uptick and the downfall and the uptick and the downfall of gun stores throughout. I would say in 100-mile span.
Yeah.
In the past 15 years.
Since it's part of an umbrella of businesses that you guys are operating, you have the security of knowing if we have a slow month, we're okay because we can focus more on this business. And
right.
But anyway,
everybody loves Trump except for the people who sell guns.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Who's going out scared now?
I still keep my barrels oiled, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it used to. It didn't even matter if it worked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just hang it have the gun. They wouldn't even shoot it. They'd return it still with the receipt wrapped around the freaking barrel. You're like, what? All right.
You gotta, it's like having a goldfish or something, man. You gotta feed it once in a while. Put some rounds through it.
You gotta at least recognize that it's a goldfish.
Yeah.
And then it does goldfish things.
You need to know how to use your goldfish, okay?
Right.
We're gonna do wake up at 2 a.m. and just all of a sudden figure out how to take care of a goldfish? No.
And they multiply. The goldfish multiply. At least they do in my aquarium.
It always
you
starts.
throw two in there. There's like 1,000 when you open the damn safe up again.
I actually think that was the whole reason I started the first gun stores. My wife was like, "Hey, quit buying guns. We don't have the money for it." And I was like, "Oh, well, I just get my FFL. I get them cheaper." And yeah, and so yeah, that's how that started. Now she doesn't even question. I walk in and it's like, "Oh, what's that big gun?" It's like, "Hey, it's 240 Bravo. It's full auto. Check it out." And she's like, "Whatever." And it sits like in the middle of my floor of my living room.
I have a running statute in my house. No guns with wheels.
No guns with wheels.
And then I kind of passed that a little, because trailers don't really count, I guess. So,
well, you put them on jacks.
You got a howitzer? What's going on, man?
Well, we had the Ma Deuce on the trailer there for a minute. You didn't get to see that.
No.
It's gone for it.
We need to. We're running a little long, but we can continue to run long. That's not a problem.
Yeah, whatever.
But before we get out of here, I had to mention the monster that you've got in the garage on the other side of this wall here.
Yeah.
Can we tell folks about that?
Sure. Yeah, it's
one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
So we were able to acquire this. It's a Humvee, but I don't know if I'd really call it that anymore. Because it's more of a lifted Chevy with a 6.6 Duramax and Allison in it that has been tube framed out to look like a Baja truck.
It's a stretch murder wagon.
Essentially, yes.
That's right. And Wasp Fabrication here in the airport did the turret for us, and it's bad to the bone. It's got a turret. It's stretched. It's basically a 1-ton Chevy that's been extended 4 feet and lifted 6 inches with 37s on it. That is going to be black Cryptek, Donovan Manufacturing down the side, and then we're leaving the front and rear open for advertisers. Hint, hint.
Oh hell yeah!
So this will be the wagon that'll go out in front of gun shop openings or go down to the ranch and do night vision courses with them, or basically if you're going to take a picture of a group around something, this is a cool thing to do it from. Mm-hmm. And then also on the back of the turret, back into the nonprofit sign. We left it open, and we can do quick releases of the back 2 seats and put a piece of plywood down, and Jack can roll right in that sucker and put his puff rig up to a machine gun or any quad, mind you, not just Jack.
We got to tell people because they might not have caught our episode that we did with Jack. What is his last name? I'm so sorry.
Fanning.
Fanning. That's
Yep.
right. we did this episode with him to highlight Brothers Keepers. Jack was involved in a catastrophic accident and is now a quadriplegic.
Correct.
And has this really badass pimp power chair that does stuff I didn't even know chairs could do. I was talking to Jack whenever I first met him, and he was like at cruising altitude.
Right.
And then like as he's talking to me, like he just starts creeping up. Like he's moving up. Now we're eye level. His chair has raised itself like 1.5 feet, 2 feet. I didn't know it could do that. It was just really cool. But anyway, I thought that was one of the coolest things about this truck that y'all have out there is that you intentionally left it operational for Jack so that he can get up in there and get behind the turret.
Right. Well, it's a whole Brothers Keepers mantra is like, high adventure stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So they got the skiing and the snowboarding for parent quads. They got jumping out of freaking helicopters for parent quads. Honor Tribe is my buddy Brad. He's got 9,000 acres. He sets up stuff for parent quads, hunting adventures and stuff. We're working on maybe some deer blinds out there. He just picked up a ranch, or not a ranch, but a ramp. So there's a bunch of charities working through all this thing. And I was like, you know what I can offer? Shooting machine guns out of a turret.
I got an idea.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Now that ramp is going to have to be pretty long, right? I mean,
Yeah,
'cause it sits up like 5 feet off the ground.
So I'm thinking about a winch system.
It's either that or a 10-foot long ramp.
Yeah. One of the two. I don't know.
I mean, at this point, honestly, like it'll go all out. Like when he's talking about this thing like right before we got in, he's like, dude, we're getting this, and I'm like, sweet. And he's like, look at this picture, and I look at it, I'm like, oh,
It was on fire.
like what? It's burnt. And he's like, yeah, man, but don't worry, like it's gonna look good. I'm like, all right, man. And, now look at it, I'm like, all right.
Oh, dude, yeah. Fresh coat of paint and some WD-40 will be set to go here.
That's one thing about this guy. He'll bring shit to me, and I'm just like, oh. Just trust the process. Like, it'll work out, And now, I've trusted him enough now that it's like, okay, whatever, man. Like, take it and run, and we end up with shit like this. So it's
One thing I do is I sell transferable machine guns, and they're really high end. I don't trust the postal system, so I hand deliver over a certain dollar amount. On that trip, I map out every gun store that I think is cool between where I'm at and wherever I'm going. Could be Charlotte, could be Albuquerque, could be anywhere. And then I'll map out every gun store, and I'll go through and I'll Google image everyone, and be like, that one's got something cool on the shelf that it probably ain't gonna sell. And I'll recognize some, because I've been in a lot of gun shops. I'm like, that dude's got a belt fit on the wall. He knows what's up, or this is a crap gun store, blah blah blah. So then I'll hit up all the gun stores, and I'll go along and be like, it's kind of like antiques archaeology for freaking guns. And then, but I'll randomly show up here with a pallet full of bulletproof plates, stuff like that.
hey, man, I'm about to pull back up at the shop. Like, meet me up there. Okay. And as I pull up, there's a pallet. And, I was just like, what the hell, man? Like, what are we? He's like, I don't know, but we got a good deal. Like, here, help me unload it. Okay. And, I mean, they sat here for, I don't know, what, 3 or 4 months maybe? And I'd sell them, onesies and twosies here and there. And, man, just out of the blue, dude, I got contacted by a guy. I don't even remember where he was, but it was a surplus company, almost like an Army Navy. And he's like, hey, I heard you got some plates. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know where you heard that from, but I do. And he was like, well, I'll take everything you got.
Oh, damn.
I was like, no shit. And he's like, yeah. He's like, if you got any more. And I was like, let me make a phone call. So I called the place in Tennessee that we got this pallet from. They're like, yeah, we got a whole nother pallet. Sweet. Let's call him back. So 2 pallets sold to that guy. I mean, like that.
Damn.
And stuff will happen like that. I'll get feedback. I don't know if I had anything to do with that.
Yeah.
But there'll be stuff where like, hey, did you have so-and-so, so-and-so? I'm like, yeah, that's because I talked to that guy in Nova Scotia or whatever. Or because I was in Phoenix and I talked to that one dude and I was like, yeah, I got a pallet of plates, deuces. And I walked out the door, something like that.
That's awesome. Well, it's a really cool environment that you guys are swimming in, and I'm glad to have just a tiny little part of the action.
Man, come on back.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, bro.
What kind of shape is the truck in right now? Could we roll it outside?
Oh, yeah,
We
absolutely.
could if it wasn't 5 degrees outside.
I'm sitting here with like all these video ideas. I think it'd be
Well, I mean, I tell you what,
I think it'd be a good way to introduce the Donovan Manufacturing episode.
yeah, for sure. So I'll tell you what, man, it's cold, but
It's real cold.
I've got another truck outside that I've got to pull in here and start getting stripped down to do a wrap on. So
Okay.
I've got to pull that thing out anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, let's
We're-
go in.
Russell, we're talking like 30 seconds. I'm just gonna strap a mic on.
I'm leaving after this. It's cold for these guys, not me.
We got lunch after this.
Well, I know, but like I'm not going to be in here. You open that door, lets all the cold air in. It takes a while to heat back up.
Russell's got to go.
Well, I don't care.
We'll get it pulled out.
I ain't going nowhere, man.
It's getting pulled out anyway. So
All right. So, well, we're gonna use that video then to kind of market for this episode. So this is
Rad.
this was the moment that we decided we were gonna do that. If you haven't seen the video yet, it's up on our Instagram, it's up on our TikTok, and our Facebook. Just look for Fort Worth Roots on everything. And tell folks how they can support your business. Plug anything you want.
yeah, I mean, of course, the social media, Facebook, Instagram, it's at Donovan MFG. Got the website, donovanmfg.com. Yeah, I mean, swing by the shop, hop online, buy some stuff, follow us on, social media. Yeah, man.
Training, helicopter hog hunts, any kind of hunts, night vision, thermal.
Yeah, all the contact info's, on all of it, phone number, email, all that. You got any questions, reach out. Yeah.
And all that will be in the show notes for this episode. And if you guys want to get into some cool shit, these are the guys for it.
Yeah, appointment only type of thing. So
Yeah.
you know what's up.
Russell, what else? Anything else you want to plug?
Nah, man. Look at that. Brothers Keepers, Honor Tribe. I mean, the two charities that I'm really pushing
It's
for right now.
brothers-keepers.org, right?
I believe so, yeah.
It's either org or com, but I'm pretty sure it's .org.
And then Honor Tribe Outdoors is Brad's place. Brad LeBlanc. He's a really good friend of mine. He took us out to his place. This is that ranch I was telling you about. This 9,000 plus acres.
Yeah.
And he's doing it for Gold Star kids, Gold Star families. And, these kids are going out there and their dad's not there anymore, right? But his partner in that's paraplegic.
Okay.
So that's how they got to know through Brothers Keepers, or whatever. So they're really centric on veterans, especially special operators and stuff. And I didn't really want to say any of this part, but I'm really hoping that not just with Brad, but with a lot of these guys, I'm hearing a lot of good stories about this Ibogaine stuff.
Ibogaine?
Yeah, so we can talk about that later.
Okay.
That's some PTSD, stuff that's really, really starting to make waves here. So Rick Perry episode of Rogan or whatever. And not just that, but I mean, like I'm starting to see the real effects. It's not just a story. I know guys.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm really that's one of my next crusades. I don't know if I'm going to do it myself, but I can.
Yeah. Stand behind it anyway.
That's not 100%. Yeah.
Can we use that logo for the thumbnail on these episodes?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay. I love that logo. So
Yeah, we'll get it to
all
you.
right. And as we continue this, guys, I promise you that it's going to change a little bit, but I know that these guys are bringing out special guests, and we're going to be interviewing some folks and getting into some cool stories and maybe some really terrible stories too. But
Yeah, we can get terribles, we can get good ones. We can light up the gun industry and the DFW if you want.
well, I don't know. That's no way to make friends. Well, guys, I got to give y'all a huge thank you. Y'all didn't have to bring Fort Worth Roots into your family here, but I'm glad for the opportunity. I think we're going to have a hell of a time. And we're going to buy all our print shit from you, that's for sure. And everybody on our sponsors list by now is going to be tired of hearing me talk about it. But everybody needs banners. Everybody needs print material, T-shirts, things like that. So I don't know how many guns I can help you sell, but I can definitely help you sell all that other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know that I can afford your guns.
That's all right. It's only money, man.
Maybe with a big old discount.
I've got a guy that can get you a good credit card.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening to this episode, and we're going to do this monthly and until further notice. I'm going to constantly be in their ear trying to get this done every week, but this is a damn good start, and we're looking forward to the adventure. So tune in, keep an eye out for that logo, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, brother.
Do right, fear no man.
A big thank you to Russell and Dillon for bringing Fort Worth Roots into the Donovan Manufacturing family. This is going to be kick-ass. I don't know what to tell you other than that because we're still coming up with ideas. I am on the Donovan Manufacturing website right now. You can go to donovanmfg.com, and I just want to show you, because we talked about a lot of crazy stuff. I want to make sure you know what they're all about. This is from one of their tabs, just one. Ammo, night vision, thermal, AR-15 parts, lights, lasers, optics, merch, coffee, medical, plate carriers, slings, ear pro, gloves, holsters, and supplies, magazines, safety. And that wasn't even all of them. That's one tab. These guys do a lot of cool stuff. So find them on the web at donovanmfg.com, and we will have more information about our homies in the show notes. This is outside of the regular Fort Worth Roots operations, so you're going to get a brand new batch of potential sponsors here at the end of the Donovan Manufacturing episode. We're going to be more geared towards the things that I just read off. So you can expect that. To see all of our sponsors, go to fortworthroots.com, hit that Trusted Sponsors tab, and it's all right there for you. The music we used in this is called The Last Knife Fighter, Do Right, Fear No Man. And Russell said he had permission, but I don't believe him. I think we might have got our wires crossed there for a minute. All right, well, that's the song for this one. We're going to be looking for some suggestions and trying to get into some wild shit. If you have any suggestions for the Donovan series of the Fort Worth Roots podcast, let us know. Media at fortworthroots.com. Come on out and hang with us at McFly's Pub this Tuesday. We are going to be recording in front of a live studio audience with a microphone set out so that you guys can get involved in the conversation. So, McFly's every Tuesday, 5 o'clock, no cover. All right, folks, we're going to get this Donovan Manufacturing series going for you, and you can look for it in about a month. Make sure you follow us on all the social medias so that you get updates on what we're up to. Again, our sponsor's website is donovanmfg.com. This was excellent. Thank you again, and we will see you next time.
Do right, fear no man.